have noticed, for the last few morning services, we have been focusing on the theme of love. Kurz touched on the topic quality time, Kim on words of affirmation, Liska on gift giving, and last Sabbath, Kimberly on physical touch. This morning, I will highlight on the last love language, acts of service. To serve God is to serve others. The greatest form of charity is in the form of pure love for Christ. John 13, verse 34 reads, "A new command I give you, love one another as I have loved you, so you must love one another." Amen. An act of Christian service is defined as any time served modeling the attitude of Christ, in service to the creation of God without receiving reward or payment. The goal of the act of service should be to help build up one another and make our world a more loving, happier, safer, and holier place. For example, when Mary poured the expensive oil on Jesus' feet, she was performing an act of service to him by anointing him. By loving and serving others, especially those who were poor and vulnerable, Jesus taught us how to be charitable. He made the effort to connect with others, not only because he found that there was a need to, but because he wanted to reach out to them, listen to them, and help them. Jesus taught the importance of service. For example, Jesus fed crowds of starving people, he healed the sick, and he raised the dead. We are fortunate enough to serve others in many ways. For instance, serving God through our families. Daily, we work, clean, love, support, and listen to our family. It is important to note, though, acts of service should not be confused with serving someone. There is a fine line between wanting to help and completely serving another person who refuses to take on their own responsibilities. As we wholeheartedly give of ourselves to our family and serve them, it can be counted as a service to God. We could donate our unused clothing, shoes, books, and other items. Generously giving of these items to help others that are less fortunate than us is a way which shows our love while serving God. Proverbs 19, verse 17 reads, He who has pity on the Lord lends. I'll read it again. He who has pity on the poor lends to the Lord. Amen. When we give to the poor, we are experiencing our love and showing pity towards them. We aren't wasting our money. We aren't wasting our time. It is like lending to the Lord and he will repay you. However, remember that there are acts of kindness, and giving must be genuine. It must come from a sincere, willing heart, without the expectation of a reward. One of the simplest and easiest ways to serve God is by befriending another. By simply being there for someone in time of need or listening to them, you are serving God. Even a simple prayer for others going through a tough time. Praying for others is an act of service. And I am sure you will all agree, and I'm very proud to be a part of, is that our church, which is a praying church, where we always bear the prayer requests of each other. It is an act that maintains a closeness to God and a greater understanding of his word. Although we may not be able to fulfill all the acts of services that I have mentioned, remember that the best example that we can follow is Jesus. Jesus came to serve and to give his life so that we could be saved. We need to display the love of Jesus and his righteousness. It must dwell in us so that the acts of services will flow naturally from us to others.
So we've just come out of the month of February where the young people have shared with us about the different love languages. And this is how we show love and how we receive love. Now, coming out of February into the month of March holds a very special day for the young people. Can anyone tell us what happens globally in the Seventh-day Adventist Church in the month of March?
GYD.
GYD, also known as Global Youth Day. which is an initiative that started quite a few years ago in the World Church, where young people around the world gather together to be the sermon. Now, what Utara has just shared with us about acts of service and what we've been hearing over the last 4 weeks is about love in action. The Bible tells us in 1 John chapter 4, verse 8, that God is love and that no one has seen God except through the love of mankind. So if we are to truly be the light of the world, if we are to truly be the servant, what better way than to show love to one another? Which is very exciting because our theme for this year's Global Youth Day is love is a verb. So taking into account the very famous saying, which says, practice what you preach, the young people are going to be taking what we've shared with the greater church over the last 5 weeks about the different languages of love and using that to display love as a verb throughout the month of March and particularly on Global Youth Day. So we will be engaging in acts of service, words of affirmation, and all the others that we've shared with you. So we ask that the church watch this space, give us your support through prayer and through a kind word and whatever way possible, because this message is not just for the young people, but for the church at large. Love is a verb and God is love. So what better way to share him and he's soon coming with those around us. So watch this space and look forward to the exciting things that the young people are going to be doing together.